Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola. My name is Heather Viron. My pronouns are she and her, and I will be your service leader for this morning. For everyone that's here in the sanctuary with us, and as well as those online, we welcome you here today. We're glad you're here. We're like one big family here, and one of the things that you'll learn about us, especially if you come back, is that every Sunday is different. We are a lay-led community, which means we don't have a settled minister. So every week is a different speaker, a different topic, a different approach to things. So if you don't like this week, come back next week. It'll be totally different. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this morning's service. We're going to go ahead and have some announcements. So I have here, first, let me say this. Next Sunday, February 8th, is Sunday Sweets. Sunday Sweets. So on Sunday Sweets Day, we have all kinds of wonderful baked goods. You bring a little cash, go through the line, pick out what you want. And if you're a visitor, a first-time visitor that time, you can get a free slice. So next Sunday, Sunday Sweets. We do that every second Sunday of the month. All right, join UUCP for a regional camp out retreat. We're excited to announce that we will be heading out on a camp out retreat October 9th through the 12th alongside 3 other UU churches from our area. This retreat will offer time for fellowship, connection, and shared meals. If you're interested in joining or for more info, reach out to Chris or Mary Beth. Okay? And the membership team is seeking more greeters and ushers to help welcome folks to our church on Sunday mornings. We would love 1 or 2 more folks to join our friendly team. See Barbara Wright if you'd like more info. Okay, and if you don't find Barbara, you can always ask me and I'll pass it along to Barbara. So we're looking for volunteers to greet at the door. Today, the Band Books bookmark decorating party has been canceled for today. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And then Sunday cleanup announcement. On the bulletin board in the foyer, there's a sign-up sheet to be a regular helper after our Sunday refreshments. What kind of help? Ferrying dirty dishes, rinsing out coffee urns, sweeping, taking out the trash, etc. Without enough helpers, Michael often ends up doing all of these things for us, and that's not right. With this new approach, you'll sign up for a certain Sunday of the month or more if you feel like it, and you can make it a recurring part of your calendar. With enough volunteers, it'll make light work. Thanks in advance for your help. Okay, and I think that's all of our announcements for today. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. I missed this one. We invite you to help shape UUCP's future. The Long-Term Planning Committee is excited to announce a series of 10 listening sessions to gather your input on our church's 5-year plan. These sessions will be held twice a month from December through April, immediately following Sunday service. So we've already had some of them. Our upcoming meetings are scheduled for February 8th, that's next Sunday, February 22nd, March 1st, and March 22nd. We encourage you to attend at least one session to share your suggestions and ideas for our church's goals over the next 5 years. Please see Brett if you have any questions. Let's see, I don't see Brett today, but I'd be happy to pass along the information to him if you have questions. You can just see me after the service. Okay, so those are our announcements, and now we're going to go on to our chalice lighting. And first our video, our UU video.
We are Unitarian Universalists. We are people of many paths who are brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. Every day, people are inundated with information, overwhelmed by demands and pulled by a culture that seeks to divide us from the web of life. Unitarian Universalism reconnects, bringing people together with meaning and inspiration. We are a house without walls, a congregation without spiritual limits, and a movement that calls you to put more faith in yourself, your community, and your beliefs. We are a faith that honors your mind, your heart, your journey. Simply put, we are a guided path towards a better you and a better world. Grounded in hundreds of years of thoughtful religious communities, we are people of many generations, ethnicities, genders and sexualities, and spiritual backgrounds. People engaged in making the world a better place. People focusing on what really matters: love, justice, integrity, and hope. Unitarian Universalists have different beliefs, but shared values. We are Unitarian Universalists, and at the same time, we may also be agnostic, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, humanist, Jewish, Muslim, pagan, atheist, believers in God, and those who let the great mystery be. The diversity of beliefs you'll find in a Unitarian Universalist community is one of our strengths. We're always learning how to see the world from a different perspective. What unites us are our core principles that uphold 7 real-world values: believing in the worthiness of every person, showing compassion and fairness, accepting others for who they are, growing through a personal search for truth, leading with democratic spirit, working for justice, and understanding that everything is interconnected. 7 days a week, Unitarian Universalists live these principles by doing. When we gather, we worship, reflect, and remind ourselves what matters most in life. Whatever our age, we learn to live with more wisdom, more awareness, more gratitude, and more soul. We show our values by showing up to answer the call for social justice. We have a track record of standing on the side of love for civil rights, LGBTQ equality, immigration reform, environmental sustainability, reproductive justice, racial justice, and more. Find what it means to live your deepest values out loud. Join us on this extraordinary adventure of faith.
And now for the chalice lighting and the opening words. The opening words are number 529 in the gray hymnal, if you'd like to follow along. They're written by Rabindranath Tagore. It's called The Stream of Life. The same stream of life that runs through my veins night and day runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measures. It is the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth in numberless blades of grass and breaks into tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. It is the same life that is rocked in the ocean, cradle of birth and death, in ebb and in flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life, and my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing in my blood this moment. And now if the choir will come up, oh, wait, not yet, the centering music. So this is a moment where you can relax and fully arrive. Thank you, musicians. And now if the choir will come up, we'll have our opening hymn. We're in the Singing the Journey book, 1051, We Are. Number 1051, We Are. It's 1051, even though the slide says 1052, so ignore that. 1051. So, but I still wanted to have a time for all ages. So we're going to listen to Penguin's Big Adventure by Selena Yoon.
Today we're reading Penguin's Big Adventure by Celine Yoon. One day, Penguin had a big idea. He wanted to do something no penguin had ever done before. He wanted to be the first penguin ever to set foot on the North Pole. Sorry about that. It is 12,436 miles away. Penguin planned and packed. He rolled up his adventure map and set off. But before his first mile, Penguin saw Emily sewing. "This looks like a very nice quilt," said Penguin, "and the brightest I've ever seen." Before Penguin reached his second mile, he saw his little brother, Pumpkin, weaving. "That is a fine basket, Pumpkin," said Penguin, "and the biggest I've ever seen." Right before his third mile, he saw Bootsy braining the longest rope he'd ever seen. Can I help?" "I don't want to tie you up, Penguin. You have so far to go." Then Penguin set off for the other side of the world, while his busy friends worked on their own world records. Penguin passed through his favorite places and visited with old friends. Pinecone! There's Pinecone. Cowabunga. Our friend, the knitting penguin. He had a whale of a time. Whee! Finally, Penguin reached the North Pole. "I'm on top of the world." Penguin threw confetti, turned cartwheels, and planted a sign. And it says, "Penguin was here." Penguin shouted, "Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!" And it echoed across the ice. Nobody answered. Penguin was suddenly lonely and afraid. But he was not alone. Penguin had never seen a polar bear, and Polar Bear had never seen a penguin. It was scary. Roar. Hi-ya! Penguin and Polar Bear smiled, and it wasn't so scary anymore. "Do you wear a black belt?" "No, I wear an orange scarf." "Do you have big sharp teeth?" "No, but one might be coming in." Together they went on a North Pole adventure. They went whale watching, built ice forts, explored the Arctic Sea, and welcomed more visitors. "Hey, we missed you." Oh wait, I think that's Grandpa. "We missed you." That's my grandpa voice. Then it was time for the new friends to say goodbye. Penguin left Polar Bear his adventure map. He didn't need it anymore. Because the best part of having an adventure is... I didn't know penguins could fly. Coming home. And they made a sign that says, "Welcome home."
All right, and now is the time for the offering. And our church is community supported. Everything that we take up goes to, pay the bills, keep the building running and everything. We are supported by our members and friends here. So we have different ways that you can give. Oh, I'm going to skip that. that you can give if you feel so led to do. And the baskets will be coming around, and I believe there'll be some music from the musicians. Thank you, musicians. And today's speaker that I'm going to introduce to you is our very own Ric Kindle. He will share with us details of his big adventure captured in photography and what he found.
So first off, when I loaded the pictures, I put them in sequence, and then when I put them on the Google Drive, they loaded in that one, right? Yeah. Oh, sorry. There we go. Then they loaded their own direction, and they're all out of whack, so I'm just going to click through them, and hopefully the last one is in the right place. So we are all on our own big adventure. Pretty much it's this life we live. Everyone's is unique in its own way. They evolve in many different shapes, forms, and levels of experiences. This past March, Hazel Nut, a puppy dog, and I took an extra big adventure. It would take us 8,537 miles in 28 days. We would travel from Pensacola to northern Louisiana, northern Texas, New Mexico, 2 stops in Colorado, Moab, Utah, Northern California, Northern Washington State, Montana, the Badlands in South Dakota, Southern Illinois, Tennessee, and 2 stops in Alabama, and then home. My intentions with the travels was multifaceted. It was to create content with my photography to print on metal and canvas, greeting cards, calendars, and any other ways I can find to share the beauty in our country, in our world. Very soon, my store will be up after many, many months and years of trying, so I'll be able to sell these online throughout the world. This has been a dream for a long time, being able to share the art, not just here locally at the market, but somebody can click on the website and buy it from Australia if they want to. Along the way, we were able to stop and visit several friends throughout the country. Most certainly affirming, though our country may be vast in area, but it felt like it was a small world in a sense, being far from home, yet home with them. One of our stops was in Colorado to visit my friends Jessica and Bo. They live an hour outside of Salida, which puts them right in the middle of the mountains. Bo took Hazelnut and I on a hike that would take us up about 1,000 feet. In 3 spots, he actually carried her so we could get up to the summit, which she's 74 pounds, and I could barely carry me and my camera, and he just grabbed this dog and was like, doo-doo-doo-doo, right up. It was like, it was amazing in itself to witness. Upon reaching the top of our climb, to the right, I looked out and I saw Pikes Peak, the backside of Pikes Peak, which normally people see it from the front side, which is in Colorado Springs at the park there. I can't remember it right now. But where they live, you see the backside of it, and to the left was the Continental Divide, which I have not found words yet to explain the sense of awe and wonder in that moment. We were able to stay up there for about 30 minutes, and it was just, I haven't found the words. They'll be in a book soon. That day, Hazel Nut most certainly earned her mountain climbing badge, and we were only 4 days into our trip. As I traveled down the road, many themes grew clearer and clearer. Over the past few years, I had lost sight of those things that had brought me closer to the divine, the source, God, whatever you want to call it. These travels brought this closer to me, reasserting what we do comes back to the choices we make. Whether we move forward, stay in the same place, or fall back into old patterns, it's all about our choices. This is all up to us. No one else can do this for us. The choice to choose is our birthright. Back to the travels. We had one more stop in Colorado, and then we took off for Moab. Driving down Highway 128 in Utah, it seemed like every time I would go around a curve, I wanted to stop and take a picture because that's what it was all about. But I was trying to make it to my campsite because I had a Zoom meeting for Earth Day, and I was like, I can't stop. But then I kept stopping. But I made the meeting. I was 5 minutes late, but I'm the director, so it doesn't matter. Up to this point, we had been staying in state parks. Soon I was to find that national parks aren't very dog friendly. So we were in Moab. I wanted to go to the arches. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's these amazing arches that when the sun comes up and when the moon comes up or sets, it's in this magnificent nature, God-made arch. And so we got to the gate on the day before I wanted to go shoot the sunrise, and the guy's like, you have to leave your dog in the truck. I'm like, for a 3-hour hike? So we didn't do the arches. So the next morning, it was our last day of Moab. The longest I spent anywhere on the trip was about 2 days. It was mostly 2 days. That was all time allowed. And so I just went down the main drag, took a left, drove to the end of the road, and was like, okay, here's where we're seeing the sunrise. There was a construction site real nearby, and the contractors were showing up. And so they're going through this gate. They kept going through this gate. And one guy pulls up, like, right behind my truck, and I'm like, okay, they're going to tell me I got to leave. But he didn't. He just went to work and left me alone. But when I turned around to see him pull up, I saw one of the most amazing moonsets that I'd ever seen in my life. I've been able to experience a lot of them, and this one was just phenomenal. The sunrise ended up being not so spectacular, but the moonrise made it all worthwhile. How that happened was by being open and receptive to the moment. I can't see what I want to see and just drove away, but I didn't. I just kept going, and we found that moon set just by the chance and by being open and receptive. So when we left Moab, we were heading northward on the Pacific Coast Highway over in California on our way to Arcata. Unfortunately, this was in the middle of the night. The Pacific Coast Highway has those sequoias that you can drive a car through, and I was really wanting to check those out, but I blazed right past it because I was going to Arcata. And I got to Arcata, my friend Lindsay, I was like, where are these big trees? You know, I showed a picture that was on my phone. She's like, oh, they're about 180 miles back the other way. I was like, oh, we missed that one. So there are so many experiences that I had on this trip. It was the lessons that I learned keep surfacing. And as I said before, I'm writing a book. I have a ghostwriter because I have never written a book. And that will be coming soon. One of the things that I learned is that all, and I said before, comes back around to our choices. We can make conscious choices that affect immediate surroundings and the people we touch personally. And then through those choices, it hopefully interacts with others. And they may have made similar choices, but as we grow closer to people that have like minds, those big choices, larger choices, can help change our world. I am living proof that anything is possible. I've been blessed to live more dreams than I can count on my hands and toes. Let's see. The most recent dream, this big adventure, comes from having the dream, believing in my whole being that it is possible, and then doing the physical work to make it a reality in my world. Even in the state of our world as it is, this last couple weeks has been challenging for me. I'm the optimist guy. I've always looked at things will get better. I know they will get better. That's just what I believe in who I am. Things have grown so intense that it's been all I've been able to do, just muster up staying positive. We can take actions to change things and stand up for truth. That's the moon set. Let's stand up for truth. We can protest, and thank you all that were there. I had a previous commitment and didn't know about it to the day of the protest. Thank you for showing up. Vote. Take physical actions to do what is right. Stand up for truth. It's been a little bit harder for me to see the light, but I know it's still there. MLK said, darkness cannot be driven out by darkness. Only the light can do that. Hate cannot be driven out by hate. Only love can do that. Live light and live love. It makes a difference. Oops. There are so many more experiences that I have to share, but there's just not enough time. And I don't know where I am on my pictures, but I had like 80, so I haven't been paying attention how far along I am. I believe adventures don't have to be 8,537 miles. It's all about perspective. We can adventure in a walk in our neighborhood. We can go to a park, find woods that are close by. We are so blessed. There's so much that is in our immediate vicinity where you can adventure really, really easy. Every day can be an adventure. I know my days are forever adventurous. It's all about how we see things. This life can be filled with adventures, big and small, but if we are able to open up to the possibilities, it's all there. So now I'm just going to click through and I can narrate because that's all I had written down. That's a waterfall that we hiked to. It took an hour and a half to get there. Started raining about 20 minutes after I was there, and one of 3 times that I thought that I ruined my camera because I was drenched. Note to self, Northern California, Oregon, and Washington State in March is the extra rainy season because it's the rainy there anyways, but anyhow. This is Northern California. That is a hole that the water shoots in. So on my way in, I would shoot broad vistas. On my way out, I would go in with the with a macro lens and get the smaller things. So hike in. This was in Arcata. Arcata is really cool. They have a town that every year there is a mural festival. And the murals are just on every building because they've been doing it for like 15 years. So like canvas, open canvas. This is me searching for big redwoods. There's a big redwood. That on the big screen doesn't look right. That is a dead redwood that when it's smaller, the colors are just crazy vivid. And there's more trees. That's an example of how big the trees are. That's the only shot I got in Oregon because it was gray and rainy and I didn't want to get wet again. That was, that's the morning, Northern California, as far north in California as you can go. That guy didn't know I was taking his picture, but I couldn't figure out what he was fishing for because those waves that are in the distance are about 20 feet tall. So I was like, what is he catching? There's one of the big ones. There's a bridge. So this is where, when we got to Washington State, I went to Olympic National Park, and on their website they said there was 11 trails that you could have your dog on. So I'd always go to the information part and it asked them where I should go. And the guy's like, you can have your dog in this one parking lot right here on the map. He kept pointing to the same parking lot. That's the waterfall we shot when I went to the waterfall anyways. That's a tree that's red. Okay, my friend Jessica in Seattle, she had just moved there 2 weeks before my big trip, so I spent a day with her, help her set her apartment up and such. It was pretty fun. There's Hazel Nuts, she got to run. I was really, really impressed. In parts of our country, they embraced the wind, and there was wind fields that were just amazing across the country. It was renewable energy, I'm all about it. Those aren't real, those are metal. That's a duck butt. So in Montana, it was cloudy and we couldn't see peaks, but that was a peak in Montana. That's Hazel. That's another one that when it's smaller, it looks cool. That's a big tree. My friend Jimmy Reed and his honey, she had just lost her puppy a couple months before and she just latched onto Hazel. So Hazel was like catching snowballs and rolling in the snow. This is a shot that I wanted to do with the vista in the background being the mountain caps, but clouds were low and couldn't do that. That is one of the shots, money shots for the whole trip. That is in Montana. A lady came walking out of the woods from here when we were standing on this bridge, that bridge. She's just walking out of the woods by herself, and she said, oh, you're a photographer, and we started talking, and she was tracking a mountain lion that she's taken pictures of for 5 years, and I was like, so you're just doing this with nothing? You know, she had just by herself, Montana. That's the Badlands. The Badlands were, if the skies weren't gray, you could see more contrast, so I wasn't able to get a lot of contrast with the Badlands. I got there and it was kind of, oh well, that's a pretty cool shot. There's Hazelnut. She got to wherever I would throw out her bed and put her food bowl down, she was good. She's like, yeah, this is home. You know, we did that. You know, we lived in the truck, so it's pretty cool. Just random people that they were on their first adventure together. This is Southern Illinois. There's ducks, more ducks. Hazel ended up having a hoodie on because it was cold. This is Tennessee, a friend's farm. They have pig and leaf. They grow pigs and vegetables. And this is home. So the whole idea of this trip is I traveled thousands of miles to come home to me. And what I believe is real and important. And it took a lot to come home to that. There's been a lot that's happened. So thank you for sharing in this moment. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Rick. If the choir will come up, we'll have our closing hymn, Turn the World Around. That's going to be number 1074, again in the Singing the Journey book. Number 1074, Turn the World Around. And please stand if you're willing and able. Thank you. You may be seated for the closing words. The closing words will be number 554 in the gray hymnal. These are written by Thich Nhat Hanh. Water flows from high in the mountains. Water runs deep in the earth. Miraculously, water comes to us and sustains all life. Water and sun green these plants. When the rain of compassion falls, even a desert becomes an immense green ocean. Thank you, and go in peace.
Did it. I stumbled like a lost track.